What did you find out about Jared Wilson? We know his IQ, his athleticism, the character. But what else did you find out about Jared Wilson from talking to his high school coach?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing was just kind of his start in football. So Jared Wilson, he was playing midfield on the soccer pitch.
What?
He was a light-footed big man. Adrien Snow said that it looked like he ran on pillows on the basketball court. But up until high school, he had never played football. So Jared Wilson they're going to an open house, and Jared Wilson's with his mom, and Coach Snow sees him walk in. He's standing, 6'4", 325 practically, and obviously stood out to a football coach. Adrien Snow's quote was that he was a football coach's dream, pretty much from the first moment he saw him. So Jared Wilson and his mom go up to the football coach, say, he's going to play football this year. And Adrien Snow, as any football coach would be, was elated. So, you have this behemoth of a boy is how I described him. And it was just, you could see the potential very quick. He was running sprints with running backs and wide receivers because of how quickly he embarrassed the offensive linemen. He was running backs and receivers were better competition. Obviously now having seen the 4.84 40-yard dash that he ran at the NFL Combine, probably not a huge surprise. And then there was something I just wanted to learn like a little bit of like the athleticism, because obviously the Combine, the numbers he put up, but like, hearing some of the high school stories and like, those behind the scenes sorts of things about his athleticism. And, that story I just shared about him running sprints with running backs and wide receivers was one of them. Hearing some stories about how he was young, so he like didn't know how to like weightlift. But then once they got him in the weightlift, once they got him in the, in the room, no surprise, he, was setting program records and everything. But the funny thing too, is that at least according to Coach Snow, like the best example, or the example that kind of sticks out to him when he thinks about Jared's athleticism, was actually on the basketball court. And it was his freshman year. He was in a gym class. Coach Snow was a teacher at the school at the time. And Jared, again, standing 6'4", 325 pounds, went up and dunked. Coach Snow didn't get it on video. And at the time he knew, if I get this on video, this is going to help the kid in his recruitment. So he said, do it again. He said, I'll give you a chicken biscuit in the morning if you get up and if you're able to do it again. Jared Wilson did it again. Chicken biscuit. Jared Wilson did it again. He sent the video. He got, he captured the video, sent it to everyone he knew, all the college coaches he knew. And it wasn't long after that the recruitment really started rolling in. So Georgia offered him, it was November 2019. He went up for a visit. He was there for 10 or 15 minutes, and Georgia already knew that he was going to be offered at the time.
Wow.
And the quote that Coach Snow gave me was that recruiters are like high school boys. You tell them you like old girl, and everyone else goes, well, you know what? I like her too. And so Georgia offers him, and the offers just start rolling in from there. And he ended up with 15 offers. He considered North Carolina. North Carolina State was among them, Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas. List goes on and on.
Florida State, UNC. I'm looking at his 24/7.
He obviously
profile.
made the right choice. Honestly, Esmeezy, between that quote and the chicken biscuits, I don't even know where to go at this point. But I will just share the thoughts that are in my mind. It's so funny in life, perspective, because this coach is talking about, well, he played midfielder at soccer, and then I saw him on the basketball court. All I can think about is going back to me in high school, playing sports or trying to. I can't imagine being on the soccer pitch and seeing this big joker coming at you full speed. What are you supposed to do? Or on the basketball court, he's boxing out for a rebound. What the hell are you going to do? You're not going to get that rebound. So he ends up in football. I have to imagine this coach thinks now that he's with the Patriots, it's going to translate. I mean, what are the expectations here? Is this coach saying he thinks ultimately this guy's going to be the starter, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Adrien Snow didn't give me that exactly. I mean, it's certainly clear that he's not surprised that Jared Wilson was drafted, in the third round, and he's certainly not surprised that Jared Wilson had such success at Georgia. He played left tackle when he was in high school, which again, 6'4", 325, probably not a huge surprise.
Yeah.
But coach was saying at the time, he's like, we knew he wasn't going to play left tackle at Georgia or after that, just because he didn't have the height. But, we needed a left tackle. We had someone who could snap. But he was even saying, at the time they saw him, they could see how well he snapped. They could see how smart he was when it came to like protections and those sorts of things. So Adrien Snow actually expected Jared to move inside and play center at the next level when it got to Georgia. And that's what he did. So, I think the expectations are high for sure. So
let's get to his first bite from Adrien Snow. Here is him talking about Jared Wilson's athleticism. I'm excited to hear about the guy with chicken biscuits and making some dating metaphors. So here's Adrien Snow talking about Jared Wilson's athleticism.
He was like a football coach's dream. I mean, he ran well, he moved, he was athletic. He looked like he was running on pillows. I mean, like his feet were amazing. I used to tell people I've never coached an NFL offensive line until him. So I wasn't real sure what one would look like. But if I had to picture what I think one would look like, it would be Jared Wilson. And the crazy thing about it, it's come true. Nobody wanted to like running with him. I mean, now we got some running backs that fast for him, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But a lot of, we would have to make him run with those kill guys because the lineman, like, he was just different. Like, he was smoked everybody. I mean, just the way it worked. He's unbelievable athlete. He's just crazy. That's why he's with the Patriots. And he is special. He was special. And you knew it early. But the biggest thing, we had to kind of get him to understand to let it go. Yeah. Like, to unleash his ability. He was naturally strong. He was naturally an unbelievably gifted athlete.
I need to go fishing and have beers with Coach Adrien Snow.
Yes.
That man was like gushing talking about. I love his energy.
He sounds like a high school coach, doesn't he, George?
Sounds like someone from South Carolina that's an offensive line coach.
Yeah.
And I think the excitement he has for him. I mean, that's what I love that.
No, yeah, he was fantastic. I wish, I could have, this story could have been 5,000 words if I got in every good quote that I had from him. But yeah, he was great and just, gave a lot of insight when it came to like, off the field sort of stuff as well. And I think that's definitely worth something. And, we've talked about it a lot, of these Patriots draftees and, their rookie class. And, it's something they targeted, those sorts of culture building guys. And a lot of the insight that Adrien Snow gave certainly, kind of references that.
Now, here's another one. We'll get to this one from Adrien Snow. Here's him talking about Jared Wilson's character. Check it out right here.
He is an offensive lineman. He's a protector. We did not have a COVID fall that year. That fall, they would not let us play. Yeah. They moved the season until the spring. So I called him in. And I said, Jared, if you decide to go to Georgia early, I love you. If you decide to stay at West Side, I'm gonna still love you. You have to do we're uncharted waters. So he had to take care of himself, and I understood that. He looked me in the eye, and he said, Coach, I'm gonna stay and play with my buddies, and he stayed and played that spring. There is a video out there of me, because it was the first game back, giving a pregame speech, and I literally was about him. Yeah. I said, guys, listen, he wanted to play with you. He stayed to play with you, and that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, he's special. He's special athletically, but he's special as a person.
Hey, good for him. I mean, at high school, especially dealing with the COVID, not knowing anything. Yes. To me, the easy decision would be to go to Georgia, start working out the early enrollment, learn the playbook. You want to stay and play one more high school season with his friends. Yep. The risk, too, obviously, is the injury and all that goes into it. Again, high character guy, you hear about it. It's cool to hear the grassroots stories. And that's one right there, Sean.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And he was, Adrien Snow also kind of gave me another one, too, about when he was talking about Georgia. And so Jared Wilson, he didn't start, he didn't play until his final season, until the 2024 season. He saw a decent amount of time the year prior as a, coming off the bench as a reserve, but he didn't start. And he had the opportunity to, like all these college kids do now, he had the opportunity to go elsewhere. There was at one time, like I said, he was kind of thinking about going playing for North Carolina, which, kind of fun fact, he would have been snapping a Drake May at the time if he did that. He ended up, fulfilling his commitment to Georgia and stayed there. But Coach Snow, he mentioned that, and he's like, a lot of these college kids, the NFL, the NIL it's like they're I quit at this point. And, Jared he didn't do that. He stayed the course. He remained at Georgia, and he got his chances final in the 2024 season, and he made the most of it. I mean, didn't give up a sack, and just, again, a 3rd-round pick. So he obviously did a lot of good things that have, now translated into him getting into the NFL. So, but it was like one of those stories that kind of make you think, like, team first sort of guy and culture builder sort of guy. And, again, as we've said throughout the offseason, that's certainly what the Patriots need. And I think that kind of sticks out when you're talking about Jared Wilson as well.
All right, Smizzle. I mean, listen, you said he's a team kind of guy. I know he hasn't done it on the NFL level, but it sounds like going all the way back to high school, this guy has shown you he can play up and down an offensive line. Is he just a center for the Patriots, you think? Or could we see him at guard potentially at some point if need be? Or do you think he'll just be a center?
I would expect that he is just a center.
Okay.
But Elliott Wolf on draft night, he came out and he did say that there is some guard center flexibility. He's obviously not playing left tackle like he did in high school,
right?
Or playing on the edge. But I think there is some guard center flexibility. And you talk about left guard specifically when it comes to the Patriots. It's there's a lot of bodies kind of mixing and matching at that left guard spot. So we'll see if Jared Wilson is one of those bodies. But I do think it's fair to say, I would expect him to challenge Garrett Bradbury for the starting center spot and potentially win that spot after camp.